Good morning, December the 3rd. At 6 o'clock in the morning, headed to work. My usual video recording routine. Hope everybody is having a good life and things are going good for you and working out how they're supposed to. We really, these days and times, the way things are going, we really need to be aware of our thoughts and our worries and our doubts. What we're worried about the most will come back to us. The way the world is turning, the way the energy is flowing, I believe that we are getting toward the end of a cycle in this world. The world, in an energetic sense, is collecting a lot of garbage and a lot of trash, and it's weighing the world down. And there's going to be time for a cleansing, a renewing. Just kind of like when you go through the spiritual awakening, I guess, in a sense, when you go through the spiritual awakening, a rebirth of the spirit. Matter of fact, Jesus speaks about this in the Bible. Jesus the man speaks about this in the Bible, about being born of the Spirit, being reborn of the Spirit. Just like the awakening, a rebirth of the spirit and the soul, renewing of the soul. And this is what's going to happen to the earth. All the clutter and the garbage and the negativity, because everything is energy. Everything is energy, and there's a lot of hate and negativity being preached in the world these days, on the media and in the government. Excuse me. People are very impressionable. Once they started taking God, and doesn't mean that there's no belief in God, but once they started taking God out of everything, because this world was based off of God a long time ago, and they kept those morals in school and in the courts. And I understand there are some, I just saw purple very brightly. I'm sure there are some that believe that there should be a separation of the church and state, which there should be. But in God there are morals. And when you start diving into morals, morals is good and positive and loving. That's godly. That's godly energy. But every time you turn on your news, or if you get alerts on your phone, which I've completely disabled on my phone. I was getting these alerts on my phone telling me about all this people that were dying. Never anything great. You never hear anything great. If you do, it's about 10% out of 90% negative. The way technology is, the internet, you turn on your TV, people are gathering knowledge. That's why I always say be careful what your eyes are seeing and what your ears are hearing. Everything that you're putting into your system, even if you don't realize it, even if you're not paying attention to it, it is still programming you. And you can deny it and say, no, that's not me, that's not what I'm doing. But in an unconscious level, you are being programmed, and you're not even know it. Human beings are robots. We are programmed as a child. Some of us do not carry that program in us. We're not easily programmed. And those are the ones, I think they refer to them as 144, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really get into all that, but I understand it and I believe in it. But I just don't do a lot of research. I am in the moment, and things happen as they happen. But a lot of hate and a lot of negativity in the world. And somebody just hit a deer. The whole front end of their vehicle was smashed. This is a really bad part of the highway here. We are getting into what they call the rut season. And we're out in the country here. And of course during the rut season is the breeding season for the deer, and they're a little suicidal, running away, and they're not thinking correctly. So we have to be careful, have to be cautious on this highway, and people will hit a deer just like there. But anyway, so a lot of negativity in the world, and I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was speaking on something. It's early. Good meditation, connecting to the subconscious. Still kind of in my subconscious. So as we are humans, and like I said, some of us are not easily programmed. I'm not putting myself in a category higher than anyone else. All I know is how my life was spent growing up. And I didn't believe nothing I was ever told. Did terrible in school, terrible in church, terrible with jobs, terrible with the law. Now, I don't mean when I say law that I was out causing problems and I was robbing people and killing people. I don't mean that. You do have some morals about you. Me being raised in religion, that probably helped a lot with my morals. But I know a lot of people that were raised in religion and didn't really have much morals at all. So I honestly think I was programmed a little differently. But anyway, speaking of the 144, and they are few and far between, obviously, with the 144,000. But every time you turn on your TV, I mean, we're being programmed, and it's. I've been really trying hard, and I'm going to use this as an example. I think God says parable in the Bible, but I'm going to use this as an example. I've been trying really hard to quit a lot of things. I'm slowly working on myself, controlling myself, gaining control of myself, aware of everything that I'm putting into my body and in my system. It's only helping me spiritually, physically, and mentally, and emotionally. And I guess emotionally and mentally can be the same things. But one of the hardest things I've had to give up is caffeine. And somebody had mentioned to me that we've been consuming this as a child. So it makes sense that it would be very difficult to get rid of. I got rid of alcohol, no problem whatsoever. I got rid of tobacco products, no problem. Well, I had a little bit of an issue with tobacco, but when I say tobacco, cigarettes. But it wasn't that bad. It once it started clearing out, it was all uphill then. There was a time where I was hooked on pain medicines, pills of some sort, whatever, nerve pills, pain pills, whatever. I got off of those, no problem at all. But the caffeine is probably one of the hardest things. And people say, well, it's just caffeine. It's not like it's gonna hurt you. No, it's not gonna hurt me at all. I only consume 1 cup of coffee a day, and that's about all the caffeine that I consume in a day. But that's something that been in my system as a child, so it makes sense that would be really hard for me to get rid of. The same concept could be being programmed as a child. We are programmed as a child. We're born in our subconscious. Once we start getting into school and church, there's where the program starts to happen. That's when we start to become programmed. We start becoming something that we're really not, and we are a soul and a spirit. Yes, we are in a fleshly shell, and but that's not who we are, and that will overpower our soul if we allow it, and will weigh our souls down if we allow it. So we really need to be conscious of what we put into our systems. And I keep saying this over and over and over again. And I know that there's people that are like, okay, yeah, I hear that. That sounds right. That sounds good. That's something we should be doing. But I believe that I've been doing this for a while, and it's been a journey for me. It's been a job for me. And I wouldn't necessarily say a job, because once I started getting into it, it actually started to become very easy for me. But negative all over the place. It's everywhere, and it is weighing. This negative vibration and frequency that's being put off is weighing down. It's slowing down the world. until eventually it's going to just come to a halt. And that's going to be a day of reckoning, a day of judgment. And that's when God's going to step in. And He's going to take over. And then some things are going to happen. Some amazing, beautiful, incredible things is going to happen. But, on the other hand, there's going to be a lot of scary things that are going to happen. We need to prepare ourselves. If you're in the spiritual community, and if you're watching this video, and you're in the spiritual community, or you're spiritually led, not man-led, but spiritually led, please be conscious of your thoughts, all loving and all positive thoughts. That loving and positive thoughts and that vibration will help the process. We can correct this. The more you think of loving and positive thoughts, the better the frequency, because love conquers all. Light overpowers the dark. They always say if you have a candle burning in the middle of the wilderness, in the dark, in the mountains or whatever, you can see this from miles away because it's so dark out. That light will overpower the dark. Please be conscious of your thoughts. Please. Loving and positive. Be aware of it. Anytime that you find yourself getting angry, stop it. Become aware of it. It's just like an addiction. If you're addicted to a drug, and once you start becoming aware of you're being addicted, that's where the healing process begins. Please be careful of your thoughts. Be aware. If you start to become angry, stop it. It's not doing you any good, and it's not doing anybody any good around you, or the world, or society. If you find yourself getting sad, stop it. I understand that's hard. It's a difficult world out there. But we are born, we live our life, and we die. That is what's going to happen, and it is unstoppable. It's never going to end. It's not going to end. This life never ends. I'm sorry, this life ends. The next life will never end. Sad, anger, depression. Be conscious of it. Be aware of it. It's not doing you any good whatsoever. It's only slowing you down and slowing everything down. Please be aware of your thoughts. Please. I love you guys so much. And I hope that you can find your peace and you can find your awareness and your self-control. You could gain so much power when you start to do this. Things can start to happen. And I know it's difficult. There's a lot of hours in the day. And if you're around a lot of people, I get it. There's a lot of hours in the day. And I just saw a falling star. I love you guys. Please. I love you. If you need me, I am here for you. You can do it. I know that you can do it. Especially if you're spiritually gifted or you claim to be spiritually gifted. Gain control. Be careful of your thoughts. I'm not hard to get a hold of. If you need me, I am there for you. I'm not hard to get a hold of. I love you guys. Godspeed.